It's mainly going to pick up my voice. If you are extremely loud and loud toward me, it might catch you. But for the most part, this is another reason why I'd like to have the camera going, because it's going to have a whole lot of me saying, "Does anybody?" or I'll call on a person, and then you'll hear nothing because that person's talking to me, and then I'll respond to them. So it's a big one-sided conversation that you'll hear, right? So we really need that video camera going. It is. It's like a gigantic audible Mad Lib. It's so fun.
Hey, Mr. Bates, this actually might help us remember lessons and stuff, because
it's going to make you remember it, have to remember it visually.
Emotional ties to certain things, you're able to remember them.
I just hope the video doesn't hiccup because of the fact it's rendering 5th period's video while I'm recording this video. That's the big hope. So what we're going to talk about today is circles. Are circles? Are circles. Huh? You love circles? What about circles do you love, Dimitri? The roundness.
Yeah, I could roll it.
Okay. We had it was like Forrest Gump. I like circles. There's all sorts of circles. There are big circles, little circles, circle shifted left, right, up. Okay. So this equation of a circle more specifically, the equation of a circle centered at 0 at the origin. This is on your notes. Okay, the circle centered at the origin with radius r. This is the first note in there. It's x squared plus y squared equals r squared. What does this look like?
A squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Yep, this looks like the Pythagorean theorem. As a matter of fact, there is no difference between the Pythagorean theorem and a circle. There is no difference between the equation of the Pythagorean theorem and a circle, because if we took the Pythagorean theorem and we said we know how long the hypotenuse is and we know how long the legs of the right triangle are, it's just saying how many different ways could we draw that triangle in different places. And we could draw the triangle here. We could draw the triangle here. We could draw the triangle here. Draw the triangle here, right? And what do we end up going if we draw every single combination of our triangle? We get a circle. We did. Okay. We did. Okay. And so, but we can, just like a parabola and just like any function that we learned before, we can shift a circle around. We can shift a circle around, so we get a circle centered at HK. Okay. A circle centered at HK with radius r is the next formula down. Circle centered at HK with radius r is the next one down. And we get x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So what is the difference between the top formula and that formula? Savannah? Dimitri? Right, so what are HK in this formula? What are the coordinates of the origin? What are the coordinates of the origin? This is sad. 0, 0. Thank you, Saladia. Okay. Okay, the coordinate. So this is centered at 0, 0. But if h is 0, what's x minus 0? X. Okay. X minus 0. Luckily, this didn't pick up the fact that you guys said that, okay? So, nor did it pick up my look of disappointment. Once I have the webcam, you'll at least get the look of disappointment. It still won't pick up your voices. Okay, yes, x minus 0 is just x, so we get just x squared. y minus 0 is just y. So this does have the h and k built into it. Just h and k are 0, so they don't really matter. Okay? Now this is in parentheses. For when we talked about transforming functions, what happens when we're inside parentheses? Kaylee? I'll let you finish the text. Go ahead. All right. So, when we're in parentheses, we're transforming, guys. This means we're moving h to the right, k up and down. Okay? H left and right, k up and down, because the x-axis moves left and right. The y-axis moves up and down, and we go opposites. Don't forget we go opposites. Question? Yeah. So x minus h. So whatever h is telling me which way left and right the circle's moving. So I've got this circle, right? And it's moving left and right depending on where h is. And then it's moving up and down depending on where k is. But they're in parentheses, so don't forget you're going to go the opposite. Right? So, and the radius is the radius. And my watch thought I was talking to it. Well, I need to know the number. Right now I don't know which way I'm going. Because h could be a positive or a negative number, and I don't know until I'm told. Bethany?
So is the first formula, whatever that says, we sort of just go as if the origin is 0, 0,
Yep.
right? Okay.
It's not as if. In the first one, the origin is 0, 0. Okay. So the equation of a circle centered at 3, negative 2. This is the first example in your notes. Radius 6. Michael, what is 3? Do you know? And I'm not looking for like define what 3 is. That's weird. It goes 3 right, but what letter does it represent? 3 represents H. Seth, what's the negative 2? K. Braden, what's the 6? R. You a pirate back there? No, but I'm pumped. Anyway. And my mic will definitely not pick up any of those laughs. So, as pathetic as they are. So we just go ahead and plug it into this equation. X minus 3 squared plus y minus negative 2 squared equals 6 squared. A little bit of simplification magic occurs. Kaylee, help me out on this one. What simplifies? What simplifies? Cardinelli? Mia? What's it going to become? No, we're not actually going to square it or anything. But what happens if I can't have two signs in a row? So what's the double negative cause? Positive. I'm going to come back to you. Savannah, what's 6 squared? 36. All right, we got one. Okay. Who has 2 thumbs and knows how to square 6? So, that's it, guys. The problem's done. So there's a circle, okay, centered at 3, negative 2 with radius 6. There's the equation. So
what is 36?
that's 6 squared.
Whoa.
12 times 3. 4 times 9.
So describe the radius to me.
144 divided by 6. Yeah, what's up? No, I'm joking.
So 36, like what? Okay, so you're gonna go like in this equation, you're gonna go 3 to the left. No.
3 to the right,
3 to the right, and then
2 down.
2 down. And what's 36?
That's the radius. So if you want to think about it visually,
Yes, I need that.
that's what you could have said to begin with.
Okay.
Gosh. Okay.
Yes.
So there's the center.
Yes.
Okay. And the radius is 6.
Square.
Mm, yes.
Oh.
No, the radius is just 6.
Radius is 6. So is that what it goes out?
Nope. That didn't move with it. It was like, I want to graph the circle. It's a compass. Wee.
So
Okay.
it's like 6 up from each thing. 6 coming out.
The radius is 6. Yes.
Out like that.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
Okay.
She's over here pulling her like Tai Chi moves on me. She's like, what you going to do, Mr. Bates? Okay. No. You guys do not need to use a compass for your homework. Whatever potatoes you give me, I'll be all right with. Potatoes. Okay? Yes, because when you guys go to graph a circle, you guys look like that episode of SpongeBob when Squidward's like, okay. So, anyhow. So, yeah, my completely 100% free-handed circle is not how yours have to look, okay? So. Okay. Guys, do 1, 5, and 6 in your workbook. 1, 5, and 6. I'm being very specific. Do not raise your hand and be like, Mr. Bates, I don't know how to do number 2.
Mr. Bates, what numbers?
It's been all right. Wow, this like pre-PS, like pre-SAT, right? They have a fill-in for the pre-SAT because that's the PSAT, right? So I mean, they're gone for a long time. Can you what? Get a hair? Oh, I thought you said a hair point. I thought you were making fun of the fact that I'm bald. Simplify it, yes. Yeah, you just.
Oh, I see, because those are.
I don't know what that meant. What's going to be great is the fact that these PSAT kids might be gone the entire time, and then they're going to be like, well, I don't even know how to do anything because I missed the lesson. And then none of you guys are actually tell them that the lesson's completely on a video online. And then they'll come in and I'll say they have no excuse and they're going to be all mad at me. And I'll be like, whatever.
Are you saying we should not go? Yes.
Saladia, I thought you were a better child than that. You were asking for clarification so you could defy me to my face. That's what you were doing, huh? Because you were like, because I would never do that, Mr. Bates.
No, I want you. I would do. Oh, that's gonna be like ASMR. Oh, no.
What do you think of the new? I've never done this setup.
I don't know.
You know how you feel about it?
I feel like you could see me a lot better. I don't know. I kind of like.
Well, I know that doesn't make me feel better.
I like this better than the groups. The groups were
Yeah, the
like,
groups are
they were kind of like that.
Well, that's because you always chose to sit by people that could not help you at all.
It's not even that.
No?
It's just the groups, I don't know, having like a bunch of squares.
Why are you calling all your group members a bunch of squares? Why are you using like outdated 1960s terms for nerds?
No, there literally were a bunch of squares.
Oh, okay, just dig it in further. Okay.
Because the table was square.
You haven't even done your workbook yet.
Mr. Bates, that means you can square root all 50 points.
Maybe. I don't know, my thing rang. I took attendance.
Did you turn it in though?
Yeah, it auto does. The second I mark one person absent, it auto turns in. Solaria Sanchez. Solaria Velo Sanchez.
That's messed me up. He told me we had to do 3, 2, and 6.
One. It's right here.
I told her the opposite.
It's in your notes. 1, 5, 6. Never. Oh, cool. My pass was found. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at these questions. Double check if we did them right, or activate Windows. That'll be in the video. No, Mom and Dad. Mr. Bates does not have a bootleg copy of Windows. No. Are we having fun, Cardinale? Alrighty. Go ahead, Dimitri. Can't give those to students. Oh, give me a second. I understand something's in pain, which is why you asked the question. However, it finished rendering. Hey, yeah. Good. Right, so if we wanted every bit of work shown, it'd look like this. I think most of us could square a 10 in our heads. Maybe not Beatrice. She knows 9. She knows 17. But 10 eludes her. Yeah, she does. Yeah. 289. Good job. I know, she didn't even know she's a ventriloquist too, huh? It's crazy. Okay. Wow, she does her act for you every day? Doesn't get old? All right. Let's do number 5. Raymond? All right. Okay. So Raymond's trying to throw his big brain out at everybody and give me the simplified answer before everything's done. But we're not going to do that. What can we simplify first, Raymond?
So if you think about it
Mathematically, yes.
it would have to be
X plus 3. Now,
squared
squared.
plus.
Careful here. Okay. Plus what? No. Why don't you put parentheses? Because what's y minus 0, Bethany?
Okay, why do you call me out on there?
Oh, that's the other thing is you guys are going to hear me doing that a lot more. I'm going to try to stay on topic more. I'm going to try to watch the little things that I tend to do. I'm really bad when the class is loud to myself because it doesn't help to actually do it out loud. I shush you guys. You'll never hear it. You'll hear me go shh, 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 as I talk. As you talk, yeah. So I try to keep myself from doing that so I don't hear it. Richard just fell. Richard doesn't know how to operate a chair. Sitting completely still, he managed to fall. Okay. But you will hear me. I'm going to be calling you guys out and by name, and then I'll have that evidence for when parent-teacher conference is coming. Be like, I want you to Why don't you see how many times I had to call out Savannah for throwing gang signs in class? So, Bethany, are we okay that y minus 0 is y? Okay. All right, next one. Who are we on to? Mia. X. Yep. Yep. Okay. Yep. 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 What'd you miss? Squared. Good. You got him. Okay. What am I going to simplify, Beatrice? Minus minus 1. Okay, that one was, they're all the same. So now we're going to talk about 2, 3, and 4. Bethany, why do you have your phone out?
Because my ring went off for my doorbell, and like the package is here for the senior shirt.
Well, when the package comes along, you must whip it. You know, so whip it into shape. Yeah, but why do you have to say it like that? It's like semi-country, trying to do Devo songs in like a country style. Yeah? He's like, so whip it good. Okay. All right, guys, the next part. Write the equation of a circle centered at 4, 5 and containing the point 1, negative 1. This is not the same. We've got the center. What am I missing for my equation? I'm missing the radius. Thank you, Raymond. I was going to call Pisha Moon, but... This is the example in the notes. So visually, so we can help out those of you who like the visual, where the center is through 4, 5, and I want my circle to pass through the point 1, negative 1. Could you guys draw a circle where that's the center and that's the point it goes through? You could draw it. And if we can draw it, that means that we can find out what the equation is. And as Raymond said, we need the radius. Oh. So, we need to figure out that distance right there. It's like almost 7. Okay. It's like almost 7. So, we need to figure out how big the radius is. Now, Solaria, 4 and 5 are what? What letters? H and K. H and K. Richard, 1 and negative 1 are what letters? Pishamun? X and Y. And if we look back at our formula, does that formula, those 3 back seats are off limits? If we look back at our formula, is there an H, K, X, and Y in it? There is. So we just substitute and we find R. We just substitute it in and we find R. So I'll give you guys a second. to copy that down. No. I didn't. You guys aren't getting a printed homework.
Do we have homework tonight?
You do not. You got abandoned. De nada. Over the backpack, over the water bottle, and back to your desk. No, didn't make it over, but okay. That's for her. Okay. We should have it written down by now. So, Alicia, why don't you go ahead and run me through this whole thing. What's 1 minus 4? What's negative 1 minus 5? What's negative 3 squared? Negative 6 squared? 9 plus 36? Okay. Sione? All right. We're almost done. All that work just to get to the exact same question as 1, 5, and 6. Now let's put this in the appropriate formula and get the formula for our circle. Richard? Huh? No? Well, we have an H and a K, and we have an R, so it's just like 1, 5, and 6. Braden, why don't you help me out? I'll start you off. Parentheses X. No? You want me to get Colin real quick? Colin, X what? The example in the notes. We're going off of our work right here. Fill in the formula. X. Equals. No. So, really quick here, guys. We have on 1, 5, and 6, they gave you H, they gave you the center, and they gave you the radius. So you guys knew H, K, and R. We good with that on those of you who were here? Okay. You knew H, K, and R. So on this question, we had to build to find R. But did we find R? No, we found R squared. How do we find R? Square root both sides. I'm not going to do it. Because what's the formula? X minus H squared plus, keep reading for me, K squared equals R squared. I don't need to find R. It equals R squared. What's R squared? 45. Still qualifies. Because here's what would happen. If I went with what you said, Solaria, right? If we wanted to, so this is a little thought bubble, right? We could have square rooted 45, and then we would have said the square root of 45 is the square root of 9 times 5, and the square root of 9 is 3, and we get 3 square root 5. And then you would have gone to this problem, and you would have said x minus 4 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals, and then you would have put 3 times square root of 5 squared. And then you would have been like 3 squared is 9, square root 5 squared is 5, 9 times 5 is 45. Done. Yay. You didn't need to. You already had R squared a while ago. I mean, if you want to do it, by all means. Because if a question asks, what is the radius of this circle is 3 square root 5. But what's the formula for it? It's right here. For the next 8 minutes, try 2, 3, and 4 in your workbook. And if you guys are nice people, you can assist those who are at PSAT, PPSAT.
Don't tell them.
Yeah. Yeah.